Taking a look at document A today for U.S. History Lesson 31. And so you see right up here at the top it says the document A is on the second page. Scroll down. And the reason I did that is because it's easier for us to grade it when you turn it into Canvas if we can see the questions right up at the top. But I'll start by scrolling down. I'm looking at document A. Document A is way more important than it looks. It's like there's not much here. Why do I care about this? Well, it speaks to the larger impact of the other battles of the Civil War and why Gettysburg played such an important part. So if you look down at the kind of bottom left corner of this map, you can see Vicksburg. And Vicksburg ends up being super, super important because Vicksburg and Gettysburg happen almost at the same time. And just after Vicksburg is captured, Gettysburg happens. And Vicksburg cuts off the Mississippi River from the South being able to use it. It's the very last part of the river that they control. And so the states that are to the west of the Mississippi have a much harder time traveling across it, so they can't send troops and supplies to the eastern part of the South and aid their war effort. This is all part of what's called the Anaconda Plan, where they're trying to squeeze the South, okay, from the North. The North is trying to surround the entire South, and they blockade them, and then they take control of the Mississippi River. And so there's some questions that go with this map. And there's major campaigns of the Civil War. That's what it's called. What does that mean? Well, you have to kind of give your own answer to this. But I'm going to help you out because the major campaigns are like major troop movements. Okay, that's what it basically means. And there's a Western campaign, which is happening over like in the Tennessee area and the Mississippi region, right over by Memphis. You can see that. And then so that's called the Western Front, okay, of the Civil War. And then there is kind of the Virginia Front, or you could call it the Eastern Front, but it's all the fighting that happens in and around Washington, D.C. Because if you notice there, the distance between Richmond, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., they're very close. The capital of the South is Richmond, and so the Union is trying to conquer Richmond. And the South wants to get to Washington, D.C., because that's where the capital of the North is, where the government is operating out of, where Abraham Lincoln is, and all those things. So that's kind of what Lee is trying to do here in the Battle of Gettysburg, is he's trying to take the fight to the north. He is going all the way above Washington, D.C. and into southern Pennsylvania, and then ends up running into McClellan's army because McClellan is kind of chasing him around, trying to find him. Oh no, it's Meade. I'm sorry. He's kind of chasing him around. General Meade of the Union Army is chasing him around, and they bump into each other, and then they have this big battle, Gettysburg. And Lee is defeated at Gettysburg, and because of that, he has to go back home and defend Richmond because he's lost too many men. He doesn't have an opportunity to attack Washington, D.C. If he wins at Gettysburg, he can march into Washington, D.C. and, possibly capture the government there, wreak all sorts of havoc. So let's take a more close look at the questions here. Yeah, figure out if most of the campaigns took place in Confederate or Union territory, and then why. This has to do with who needs to conquer who, right? The North needs to conquer the South. The South can just kind of sit around and wait it out. If the North doesn't attack them and take back that territory, the South has seceded. So the South doesn't have to conquer the North. They just have to get the North to stop fighting them. Question 3 is a matter of geography. Check it out. Judging from the map, what do you suppose Robert E. Lee's reason for marching his Confederate army to Gettysburg? So this is an inference. I gave you some clues there about Washington, D.C. And then this mini Q asks why the Battle of Gettysburg is considered a turning point in the war. How does the map help answer that question? I would say that the map helps answer that question by saying the South, for a second time, went into the North and was defeated. They were defeated at the Battle of Antietam Creek about a year before that, and then they went into Gettysburg again. Or, sorry, they went north again and were defeated at Gettysburg. So both times they tried to go into the North, they were defeated. And that is how it helps answer that question, because it turned back another Southern assault onto the North. All right. We have 3 more documents after document A before we